Hey everyone, it's Lexi, and today I will be doing a kind of non-spoilery slash spoilery review of The Beauty of Darkness by Mary E. Pearson. And for those of you who don't know, this is the last book in the Remnant Chronicles, and it's basically a story about a princess named Leah who, on her wedding day to this arranged marriage to this prince she doesn't know, she runs away with her best friend, and the prince and an assassin are sent out after her. That's all I'll give. Like, if you don't know it, then I'll leave it there. But if you haven't read this trilogy at all, I highly recommend you do it. It has a very strong female character in it, and it's just really good. Like, there's a lot of twists and turns, and Leah is very a strong character. She's very strong. She's not physically strong like we see in typically a lot of YA fantasies. Like, the female character's always like strong physically, but Leah is different. She's more she's very calculating, she's very smart, and she uses that to her advantage. She's good at different languages. So this book takes off where the Heart of Betrayal left off, which was basically when Leah and Rafe have escaped Venda, and this is kind of like the aftermath of everything. Like, is the Komozar dead? Like, what's going on? What's going on with Caden? Like, what is going on with the world? We have to tell everyone because there's this army that no one knows exists coming. And so I was really nervous going into it. I was like, oh my goodness. But it's a massive book. That's why I was surprised. Like, it's literally the first two books stacked up on each other. But I finished it rather quickly, and considering like the Olympics are on, like, I sped through this. Like, I was hooked from the beginning, and that's basically what I'll leave it as there. But it was a really good conclusion to the book. Like, if you love the first two books, you'll definitely love this. I didn't really have any issues with it. Some parts were predictable, I will say that, but other than that, like, it was just really good. If you love this, or you're interested in kind of a different YA series with a strong female lead, I highly recommend you check this series out. They are definitely one of my favorites. That's kind of it for the non-spoiler review, because they can't really go much into detail about this without kind of spoiling it. So if you have not read this book, then click out now. So to start out, I had a feeling that the Komozar was not dead. I feel like it had to end. Like, he was the dragon. I feel like he couldn't die then. Like, he needed to go out in a bang. So like, when they were running away and Rafe is like carrying her through the forest, and they don't know if she's dead. Like, she's just had two arrows shot through her. Like, she's just almost drowned in the lake or the river. Like, it was crazy. And then how Rafe's kind of like inner circle, they're not really sure if they trust her or not. Like, does she have the gift? Like, they don't know. Like, do they believe it? So that was just interesting, like the dynamic of it and just all that stuff. And then when they finally Caden finally finds them, I was like, yes. And Grits, like, I love him. He's one of my favorite characters. But it was like it's so frustrating that Rafe doesn't trust Caden. Like, I can understand, but I feel like it took so long. Like, it literally took until like the last 100 pages for Rafe to kind of forgive or like kind of settle things with Caden, which I thought was just kind of frustrating, especially like how they ended up slaughtering that entire like, what are they called, whatever the inner circle that Caden was a part of. They killed like all of them, but they didn't know where Malik was, and I was like, oh, I think I knew going in that Leah would be the one who would have to put an end to him, just because of all the things, and how they kind of went into that fort for Delbrick, and how Rafe would not let Leah go. Like, they didn't believe. I would be like, this drove me nuts how no one believed that there was like this big army coming. Like, even Rafe was like, I don't think it was that big. But it was frustrating. I can understand why he didn't want to let her go, but at the same time, it was like, she kind of has to. And how they have that big fight and they end on bad terms when he's kind of letting her go with Caden. And I was super happy when they kind of figured out how like, they found Birdie and Gwyneth and Polly, and like, I was super happy about that. And I kind of had a feeling going into it, because I remember in the Heart Betrayal, Rafe said he had like a vision of him and Leah in the Venden, like the little fort there, the sanctum, and there was a baby. So I had a feeling that was going to be Pauline's. I was pretty sure. So when, like, even though Pauline like hates him in the beginning and all this stuff, how they, I guessed that early on, just because, and I was super surprised, like, just kind of the whole, like, coup that Leah threw with, like, Delbert, and finally, Rafe came, and he kind of, like, that, the deal that he made with the general to marry his daughter was so frustrating. It was just like, so I was happy when the general, after Leah made a comment on why she ran away because she didn't have a choice and all that stuff with the marriage, that the general kind of thought, like, changed it and kind of dropped out of that. So that was kind of frustrating, but then also kind of good to see that people are kind of eventually learning. But I really loved the coup that Leah did. Like, it was just, oh, first we have to talk about the battle between Leah and Malik. Like, that was just, I was waiting for it to happen, just how I feel like it was a vice regent that was going to be the bad guy, and just how much bigger this kind of betrayal was within, like, the inner circle of the Morgan government. Like, I had a feeling it was going to be the vice regent, because if you look back into Hard Betrayal, when Pauline is kind of outside the castle and they announce that Walter is dead, like, she mentions how the vice regent's hair was like blonde or whatever, so then I made the connection there, and how he had many faces because Leah said he was one of the few that she could trust, but then Caden was like, no, he's not like that at all. So then, because the prophecy talks about the dragon with like many faces, so that's what I thought. But the battle between Malik and Leah, which I thought was pretty epic, even though she ended up getting injured and all that, but then she ended up getting captured after that as well. But I felt like the coup that they had afterwards was just so good. I loved how Leah was just taking her place, and as the leader, that she was kind of like her mother and father, like everyone within that court kind of downplayed her, and she kind of filled into the role that she was meant to be. Like, I love that, and just how like all of that, and especially like how she kind of fixed her relationship with her father and her mother. I really like that as well, and how she kind of never really realized how her mother like loved her so much. And I just thought that was kind of just interesting, and all that, how she kind of saw the book, the prophecy in it, and saw that it was Leah, and she did everything she could to kind of get that from happening, like even if it meant some like kind of making her lose the gift. I thought that was interesting, and how like the vice regent finally like escaped at the end for in the battle, and how no one believed Leah that they were going to be at this one place, but they went along with it anyways. But that battle scene, it was hard to follow because it was like Caden, Rafe, it was like, oh my goodness. But I thought it was neat how they had the one girl with the eye patch, I forget her name, be the one to kill the Commissar. I thought like that came full circle, because she, I don't know, I feel like she had a lot, like Leah and kind of that girl kind of worked together to get that, and I really like that, and how Leah made the speech and everyone's like, we don't want to fight for this, like we are with her. And I really liked how everyone just kind of dropped everything. I didn't think Leah was gonna die though. I feel like, because I remember they talk about there's more than one type of sacrifice, and I feel like just with Caden's prophecy, I feel like she would just kind of have to sacrifice her life with her family and like her brothers to kind of rule Venda. And then I really for sure thought she was pregnant, and kind of like the epilogue-y part where she's in Venda, and she, for some reason, I was pretty sure, I had a feeling she was going to be pregnant, but she wasn't, but I was surprised about that. And then how Rafe kind of eventually came to his senses and kind of wanted to be there. So I know this is like the end, but I kind of want to hear like what after the fact. And I love how Caden and Pauline are a couple, and how she kind of got her Terravan in Venda, just because she's with Pauline, and Gwyneth is off with Grit, which I thought was like a funny pairing. And how she kind of got that. She got her family, she kind of got the best of both worlds, because she cared so much for the Vendon people, but she also wanted to have that life in Caravan. So I think now that, like, because Caden's there, Pauline, Birdie, and now like Rafe's finally come to his senses. Like, I really wanted to whack Rafe on the head many times in here, because he was just like so frustrating. But yeah, like, I think this was an excellent conclusion. So let me know in the comments below what you felt about this, because I could talk about this book forever. So that's it, guys. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and kind of leave your comments on like what you felt about this book, like what were your thoughts and opinions, what surprised you the most. And so yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.